because there were shell companies that it would take you years to get through it. That was what it is. It's not impeachment. It's not impeachment. It allows Congress to investigate by giving Congress the full power to get the information they need. It's the way people should go about investigating. So let me put yourselves in our place. Doesn't matter who's in the majority or not. You have somebody who went to the FBI. They had a 1023, which is the form they talk about, who says this is an informant that the FBI continues to use. We heard that there were payments to bribe, allegedly, the vice president at the time. That the bribe would be hard to follow because there were shell companies that it would take you years to get through it. That was one allegation. We have a president who told the American public in October that he's never spoken to his family about any of the business. He said no one in the family had ever gotten money from China. Well, now that is proven not to be correct. We now have IRS whistleblowers come forth saying that the Justice Department used their power differently than David Weiss or Garland has said to the American public and to Congress and Senate. They also said that we all know the statute of limitations ran out for the most serious part when it comes to the Biden family on taxes. But the IRS in whistleblower, who when asked questions in that hearing, said no, it was on the table to extend that so the statute of limitations wouldn't run out. And David Weiss let it go. So now you have the president saying one thing that we've proven is not true. You've got IRS whistleblowers saying something when it comes to government treating the Bidens different. You've got an informant claiming that the Biden family had been bribed. Should you ignore that or should investigate that? The only way you can investigate that is through an impeachment inquiry, so the committee would have the power to get all the documents that they would need. What I said last night, and I continue, I said it before, when more of this continues to unravel, it rises to the level of impeachment inquiry where you would have the Congress to have the power to get to all these answers. I would think the Biden family would want to answer these questions as well, provide the documents instead of holding them back. We're watching this administration use government much like Richard Nixon used by denying us to get the information that we need. So that's what's the answer to the question. Yes.
What would an impeachment inquiry allow congressional investigators that the oversight committees and judiciary committees don't already have? And how would you respond to Democrats' contention that the 1023 was in the possession of the Justice Department during the Trump administration under Attorney General Barr, and they found it not to be credible enough to move forward?
Not true. Not true. If you listen to what Barr came forward, Barr said he moved the 1023 when he found out about it to the, I believe it was the Philadelphia Department of the Justice Department. That Justice Department came back and said that, and don't quote me because I got to get the right terms, exactly what they said, but they said there was more merit and more information. When have you?
Philadelphia court. Always remember that. Always remember that. You got DC. You got Philadelphia. There's a lot of different books. See, the Indians talk about that Philadelphia court. There's a lot of different information. It's older. It's older than DC.
Found a Justice Department of attorneys to find more information than the FBI. The FBI did nothing with it. And you raise a very good point here because you bring up that. Well, we have now found from the IRS agents, the whistleblowers who came forth, that they were denied this document while they were investigating. Not only were they denied the document, when they had a meeting, they were going to talk about it, they asked to be a part of it, and they were denied to be there. Now that raises lots of questions. You never want people to question that type of thing. You want to be forthcoming. So what an impeachment inquiry does, it gives us the apex of the power of Congress for and Democrats to gather the information that they need. So when we're continuing that, you raise a question like this, wondering what's right or wrong, you would want the truth as well, just as you're covering it for the American public. What that simply provides is that the American public has a right to know, and this allows Congress to get the information to be able to know the truth. Yes, ma'am.
What do you say to the moderates in your party who say you continue to side and appease the right wing on many issues, including
Such as what?
On talking about an impeachment inquiry of President Biden, on appropriations, on a long list of things?
Well, I don't know, because you haven't quoted anybody. You just say something. You frame some brand of something. But let me answer your question. It's very forceful and truthful in this. I have nothing to do about who in the party. This is about America. And I raise to you. I watch you on TV. You write every day about covering government. So right now you have a president who told you and every other American that he's never talked to his family about business and they never got $1 from China. You now know that's not true. You have a president, while he was vice president, that got 16 out of 17 payments from Romania while he was president. You now
Damn!
Remember the old page? Remember all that shit? Remember them Trump wars? And everybody's like, oh, yeah, you're right wing, you're Republican. It pisses people off that that's my party and there's a bunch of fakers in it. But there's some real people there that are using the policies in the correct sense. It's really what it's about. It's about how your brain moves.
never known that before he was elected, but you now have a document that the FBI had that didn't further to investigate, even though the Justice Department said there was merit, that said they were bribed and told they had to run through shell companies, which you never knew about, but now you know there are shell companies. And what they made this claim to be, you find that the form of which to pay in is actually what came through. You now have IRS whistleblowers who are not Republican, philosophically, who now say they were denied the ability to do their job. And in trying to do their job in the investigation of the Biden family, they were denied the 1023. Even in meetings where David Weiss has said one thing to them and different to the American public, different than the Attorney General had promised the American public, he said that they should be prosecuted. But now we have found out that the department actually called the Biden family attorneys, told them ahead of time where documents were, treated other people in politics differently, even went to the inaugural committee. Why would they give a heads up to the inaugural committee? Why would they be denied the ability to go forward? They believe the investigation was hampered using political purposes to treat them differently. Now, as an elected official, having all this information, should I ignore it? No. Congress has a responsibility for an investigation wing. All I'm saying is, and I'm sure you probably asked the same question, where's the truth? You've got
plagiarists in the 80s, Biden been dirty. It's like all to get the dude who was not into politics out because he was about to crash the board. But now it's just crash, period. Why did you throw that dummy in there? Goes.